This is lesson unit circle supplement day 2, clip 2. In clip 2, we are looking at being able to find the angle measure of a point on the terminal side of an angle on the coordinate plane. To do this, we're going to use how we solve for angles in lesson 8.3 and what we know about reference angles and how they're related to the actual angle from what we learned in unit circle day 1. Given a trigonometric ratio, what can be used to find the angle? Well, if you know the trig ratio, there's a very specific thing. But I like to say, how do we solve triangles? Well, you know to solve for sides that there's two things in your toolbox that you can use. If you are given two sides already, you can use the Pythagorean theorem if it's a right triangle, of course. It has to be a right triangle for that to work. Or you can use SOHCAHTOA if you are given an angle and a side. And we've reviewed this several times in class, so everyone should be pretty solid on that. If not, go back to lesson 8.3. How do we solve for angles? Well, if it's a right triangle and I've given you one of the two acute and you know the 90-degree angle, you can use the triangle sum theorem to find that third angle. However, if I didn't give you any of the acute angles and you only have the right angle, then you have to set up your sine ratio, cosine ratio, or tangent ratio, and then use the inverse to find the angle. So you set up the ratio and then you use the inverse. Again, if you don't remember that, you need to go back to lesson 8.3. It covers those skills. So what do we have to use if we're given a ratio? If I know that cosine of theta is 4/5, well then that means that theta is going to be the cosine inverse of 4/5. I put this